It's time for a spooky story. So when this girl was 5 years old, she lived in a twin home, which is basically a duplex where two houses share a main wall. And to get to her parents' room, you had to walk through her room. One night around 2 a.m, her mom woke up to her screaming. She came running down the stairs to this 5-year-old daughter of hers standing in the hallway, looking dead ahead at nothing, saying, "Who is that man?" Obviously a little freaked out, her mom says, "What man?" So she proceeds to describe him. She says he's an older guy with brown coat, brown shoes, and a hat. So her mom goes and gets her dad, and they walk through the whole house trying to find an intruder, and they see nobody. And this is when it gets weird. So the next morning, the mom is talking to the neighbor who lives on the other side of the house in this duplex. And she starts to tell her what had happened the night before with her daughter and how she had seen this man in the house. The neighbor's jaw drops. And she says, "Oh my God, my son Ryan, who is also a 5-year-old, woke me up at the exact same time saying, 'Mom, Grandpa's standing in the hallway.'" I have goosebumps. Because Grandpa had been passed away for a year. She said she had chills even while typing out this story to me. If you have a spooky story that you want to send over, please, there's a link in my bio to a Google form. It is anonymous, I promise. Or you can add your contact information and I can tag you.
Bro, what is the possibility? Yo, these kids, bro. Cause that is crazy. The little boy's grandpa and the little girl saw the grandpa at the same time. He was just wandering through the houses because the house is connected. He like, where am I at? I'm in a whole nother house. Like, that is so crazy, bruh. So freaking crazy.
Okay, as promised, I have more ghost stories. If you have not heard the previous ones, I live in a 200-year-old house in New Orleans. It's in the French Quarter. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's everything that you would expect a haunted house would look like in the French Quarter. So I have told a couple of other stories, and this is one that I want to tell from a couple of weeks ago. That was actually, I wasn't home when it happened. My boyfriend was. I will set the stage a little bit. This happened back in well, it happened all over the house, but he was sitting in the back in the office area. I'm going to insert a video right now so you can see what that looks like. It's right next to the bedroom. Okay, so this is the walk down the hallway. First, I will take you into the bedroom, the creepy bedroom if you haven't seen it. Sorry, my laundry's all piled right here. A little bit, this is like where we put all of our shit because I don't know what to do with this scary back bedroom. And then you go down the corner, there's Nina. You go around the corner, and then this is the back office. It's obviously not fixed up or decorated yet either, but this goes to the outside right here. So, and then remember this for later. I'm gonna turn around and show you what it looks like going down to the end of the hall here. So this happened about 3 weeks ago. Mina and I were at the dog park, and it was maybe 4:35, like kind of right before dusk, let's say. And he was working in the back office, and he said that, and I'll try to recount this as good as I can. It's his story, like I said. He was sitting in the back, 20 minutes or so. He is sitting there feeling like somebody is watching him. And I think we've all had that feeling before, and it's like a very, very weird feeling. But he was sitting there, and he just really couldn't shake that feeling that there was like a heaviness or somebody was watching him. And I've gotten that feeling a lot in the back of the house, but he said this was really, really intense. And so he kept trying to shake it, kept trying to shake it. It was getting more and more and more intense. He gets up to kind of like shake it off a little bit, comes back to the office, and he said that for the next like several minutes, he was sitting there and the feeling of like uneasiness was just growing and growing and growing. It was almost like a sense of dread. And he said he really felt like somebody was just standing, staring at him. And it was really, really odd. He said he'd almost never felt a feeling quite like that before, where somebody was not in the room with him, and it was just like this intense uneasiness. I'm gonna try to retell this like he told it. He gets up because the feeling of uneasiness is so uncomfortable. He goes and he's walking down the hallway, and I will show you what his view is right here. So he's like going to walk down the hallway, and he sees a shadow at the end of the hallway. And he said that like he knew logically that there was nobody in the house with him, but there was something at the end of the hallway. There was like just a shadow, and it stopped him in his tracks. And then he saw a flash of light that was so bright that it looked like fucking lightning. Like it looked like lightning, big flash, almost even like a camera had taken a picture. It startled him so much that he said he screamed and kind of like jumped. And so about, let's say 30 minutes later, I come home from the dog park. He's standing in the living room. He's like pacing around, and he's totally pale. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he explains everything to me and says that like, I don't know what this was, but there was like electricity. There was a flash of light. I really thought that it was lightning. It was really intense. Like it kind of filled up the whole room, and it like made him feel weird. This was actually the incident that caused me to, I bought some cameras and I have set them up in the house. They've been running for only a couple of days now. And I am going to go back through them in the next couple of days and see if there's anything in there in the hallway, because I don't know what that is, right? And if anybody has ever heard a story like that where there was like a flash of electricity, I would love to know what you think about that, because what the fuck. Anyways, I'm gonna go through that camera footage though.
Y'all saw those checkerboard floor, right? You saw that checkerboard floor? Girl, I have heard a story like that. I can't remember exactly how it was because it was so long ago. It was in one of these lineups so long ago. This woman was in her house and there was a flash of light in her kitchen. I think she even had footage of it. She had her camera set up and it was just a flash of light. So yeah, I don't know what that was about. Usually when you hear a flash of light, it's usually something to do with aliens. So I don't know. Like, honey, that house looked creepy. Like, not even gonna hold you. That house looked creepy. It looked old. It's like, yeah, we already know that New Orleans is a portal. So yeah, no, I believe him because she looked like she low-key sound like she don't believe him. He was just red. Like, I gotta figure out what that was. You saw a shadow. After you look down that hallway looks creepy. I wouldn't look down that hallway. I would actually have the door shut. I would have curtains on those glass doors. Talking about, oh, this is how you get in the house. This leads to the outside. Nah. It's too many doors that lead to the outside there that you can see through. Or barely see through, but you can see shadows. Nope, I didn't like that. But I have heard a story about that. I wonder... if I could find it, I'm gonna send that to her. Like, no. There was a lady who said the same thing. There's probably plenty of stories, but that's one in particular that I remember. But yeah, no, friend. That was creepy. Put up those cameras and just, I'm pretty sure something is going to happen. You're going to catch something on those cameras in that house. I know of it. Yeah.
So I have a spooky story for you, and this one involves twin telepathy. Now, the idea of twin telepathy is very straightforward. It's the idea that twins, particularly identical twins, have the ability to communicate telepathically. So our story for the night focuses on a pair of two identical twin girls. So on the morning in question, the two twin girls and their brother are home alone. One of the twins comes downstairs for breakfast, turns on a CD that she has in the kitchen. We'll say it's something like Creed or Smash Mouth, very 90s, and it's super loud. Now, the brother who follows her into the kitchen is basically like, whoa, this is entirely too loud. I need you to turn this down. And so this sister, being kind of an asshole, is giving him a hard time, but eventually does turn it down. And this is when she sits down at the table and starts plucking her eyebrows. So the brother sees her doing it and playfully asks what the occasion is. And of course, the sister that's plucking her eyebrows is like, oh, nothing, just want to look nice. And this is when the other twin, who happens to be sitting in the living room, says it's not for nothing. She's not trying to just look nice. She's going to a party. Now, the twin that's at the table plucking her eyebrows shoots a glance over to her sister and calls her a rat. And this is when the older brother steps in and says, hey, Mom and Dad specifically told me no parties. There is literally not much else you guys cannot do, but you cannot have a party. This is when the sister, who's getting herself done up and ready to go out for the day, says that she's not having a party because Mom and Dad didn't say that they couldn't have a party. They said they couldn't have a party at the house. And technically, she's not breaking any rules because the party's not at their mom and dad's house. It's at one of her friend's house. Now, the brother, seeing the cleverness in his sister's argument, has no leg to stand on, and there's not really much he can do about it. So she continues to pluck her eyebrows, and then she gets to like one of these really tender spots towards like the bridge of your nose, and that's when the other sister, who's been chilling out in the living room thus far, starts to tear up and sneeze uncontrollably. And of course, the other sister looks over there, and this is when the other twin sister, after she finishes her sneezing spell, says, hey, can you chill out with that? Now, the sister who's sitting at the table plucking her eyebrows apologizes, and that's when she retorts back, well, yeah, hey, I'm gonna stop doing this, but what the hell happened in PE the other day? My shin was killing me. To which the sister who'd been chilling out in the living room says, yeah, my bad, sorry about that. I hit my leg on the bleachers and I got a really big bruise and a little bit of bleeding, so If that's what you felt, my bad. So the other brother, who's grown up with his twin sisters their entire life, is pretty familiar with this happening, but it's not something he'll ever get used to. It's always weird and it's always different. So the sister at the table finishes plucking her eyebrows and she gets up to leave for the day. She doesn't have any plans to come back that afternoon, but she does ask her sister if she can borrow the CD. And of course, her sister, being a good sister, says, yes, just make sure you bring it back in one piece. And after that, the sister leaves, and it's just the one who was sitting on the couch and the older brother. Now, the older brother takes a bit of pity on the one who's been left behind, and he says, well, I'll tell you what, since it's just me and you this afternoon, why don't we have a pizza party and we'll watch some basketball games and just chill out. Of course, the sister, being a homebody, is pretty okay with this, and that's the plan. So later that evening, the brother and sister are watching TV in the living room. The other twin had gone out for the day. They hadn't seen her for a while. And all of a sudden, while they're eating pizza, the brother turns up the TV, and the CD that was in the CD player starts playing really loud. We'll say it's something like All Stars or something. It's just obnoxiously loud. So the brother tells the twin sister who's at the house with him to go and turn it off. And so she does. She goes and turns it off. So he goes back to turning up the TV and the radio starts playing again, the same CD. And this is when the twin sister who's at the house starts to get a really bad vibe. So she walks over to the CD player to take the CD out, and there's no CD in there. The CD is gone. This is when the sister realizes that as the brother turns the TV volume up, the sound on the TV, or I guess the Smash Mouth All-Star song, gets louder and louder. And it goes the other way when he turns the volume down. And this is when she gets this really big knot in her stomach and she bowls over. She's in intense pain. And this is when she starts crying and she says, I know where she is. I know what happened to her. And she's breaking down right in front of the brother. Now, the brother is like, this escalated super quickly. I don't know what the hell just happened, but he's trying to get his sister to communicate with him. And this is when the sister says, we need to get in the car and go. Now, the older brother is looking at her like, no, we need to go to the hospital if you're bowling over like this. And the sister is insistent, no, we need to go right now. Now, the brother, again, is really just having a gap right now because he's trying to figure out how he went from enjoying pizza and a basketball game to seeing his sister doubled over on the floor and listening to a CD play that hasn't been in the CD player all day. So he is thoroughly creeped out at this point. But because he wants his sister to chill out, he decides that he's going to heed her advice and they get in the car and they start driving. Now, the sister is still bowled over in pain at this point, but she's telling him to go certain directions. Take a left here on 5th Ave, go west on North Street. And eventually they get to a place in the road where they see a car. And this car has swerved off the road and is head first in a ditch. And this is when the sister says, that's the car right there. So as they approach the vehicle, the brother starts to get a knot in his stomach as well because he recognizes the car. It's his sister's car. This was the car that was supposed to take her to the party later that evening, and now it's headfirst in a ditch. So he stops his car, he rushes over to the vehicle, and his sister is in there. She's bleeding pretty badly, her head's banged up, but she is coherent, and she makes a moan as he opens the door. So he's grateful. Now, luckily, they do have their cell phones, and the EMTs come, they check the sister out, and they take her away. But before they do that, the twin who was in the accident says, I hoped you would hear me and I hoped you would come, and I'm so thankful you found me. Now, the brother's standing there looking at the both of them like they're crazy, and again, he's just nearly had a heart attack because the entire event was traumatic and super unfamiliar. But the twins look at him and say, it's just another day in the life. So anyways, I want to know what you guys are thinking about that. Let me know if you think this was sheer coincidence. And if so, how do you explain the CD player playing with no CD? And how do you justify the sister knowing where the other sister was going to be despite not having seen her all day? And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you think this was a genuine instance of twin telepathy, or maybe it was just a bond so strong between the twins that the other could feel the other one's pain legitimately. Anyways, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next video.
This is so interesting because I feel like this does not just happen with twins. It's just stronger with twins because they've been connected from the womb. Since the womb, they've been connected. Because this has happened with, mom and kids. But I hear it a lot with twins. Is more so of a real thing. They can be hours, miles apart. and they still feel each other, what each other feel. But I have heard of it and experienced it with family members, like just close bonds. Like with my sister, she's in a whole nother state right now. It's like I'll think about her and I'll text her and I'll be like, yo, I was just thinking about you. And she'd be like, girl, you need to stop this, because I was literally just talking about you. I was really just thinking about you. And it's just like, yo, it's a feeling. It's just when you have that deep connection with somebody, you can feel these things. You can share thoughts. You can like vibes, because we're all one, we're all connected. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad they had, even the brother felt that, like, I'm glad they had that together, because I was just like, yo, she took the CD, what do you mean the music was playing, honey? Like, I would like to know what happened to cause the wreck, you know. But I'm glad they had that connection. They could communicate within each other, so they got there in time. Because man, that's scary, creepy. Love that though. Love that they can communicate. Their communication, their connection is that deep. So I almost forgot. Y'all remember my last video I just posted? In the beginning of the video, y'all heard that voice? Tell me y'all heard that voice, because nobody commented that they heard the voice. I feel like y'all wasn't watching my video. Y'all was just listening, but I still appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. But that voice was a manly voice, and it was just it was a video of Kessa. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And she's a woman. Like, she has a feminine voice. Like, the voice happened before I even clicked the video to play. Like, didn't hear it in real life, clearly. But when I recorded, it was like a voice said, I'm sorry or something. Sorry or something. Tell me y'all heard that, because y'all didn't comment. And I need to figure out if I'm just hearing things, or it's just a bad audio thing or something. I don't know what that is. And it's just like, who is sorry? And why are you sorry? You know? Maybe I need to listen to it again to see if the voice sounds familiar. But it sounded like a white male's voice to me. So I don't know. That was interesting. But y'all didn't comment. I need y'all to comment now. Go run it back. Play it back, Caroline. And let me know if y'all heard that. Alright, okay. Follow all these creators. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe.